Right, so it was my wedding anniversary this week. 18 years happily married. Yeah, congratulations to me and my wife. But what do you do on your wedding anniversary? I know I do the same thing every year when I'm writing a card to my missus. I always think about the journey that I've had over the last 18 years. And you think about what we've done as a couple, the houses we've bought and done up, and the kids and the achievements the kids have had, and the holidays we've had. And it always amazes me how much we've experienced over the last few years. Of course, there's some times that are challenging, aren't there? No doubt. But you really fondly remember the good times, don't you? And although you might do this for personal life, there might be an occasion like a wedding anniversary where you stop and you reminisce and think back. Do you ever do that in your business? Do you ever take a little bit of time out to see how far you've progressed and how far you've come in business over the last few years? Because oftentimes, isn't it the case where you can be so wrapped up in the day to day running of things and the stress of running your business that it can always just seem hard and there's just no fun in it at all. It feels like you're on that bit of a hamster's wheel. And you may feel that maybe you've not progressed the way you should have, or possibly you might even feel you've been going backwards over the last few years. And we need to be careful, don't we? Because sometimes we can be our own harshest critics in business. But if you've ever felt like that, I just encourage you just to take some time out periodically and have an honest look at things in your business at the moment. How are you doing compared to, say, 5 years ago? And sometimes that's difficult to gauge and to answer that question. So it's good just to maybe measure some KPIs, some key performance indicators. So, one of those KPIs could be your turnover. Has your turnover increased since what it was 5 years ago? Has it increased or decreased? And that's quite an important metric to analyse. Possibly if your turnover's decreased, then have your sales started to dry up? And if they have, why is that? Is it your reputation? Has your quality been lacking in any way? And then maybe you could do the same with your gross profit. What gross profit percentage are you consistently maintaining now? And what gross profit percentage did you used to have 5 years ago? If your gross profit's increasing, well, that's fantastic, isn't it? That means now you're tightening up on your material costs and your projects are being delivered well. Maybe you're pricing higher and winning more lucrative work. So that's great. That's a great sign. And you could ask yourself, how are you winning work at the moment compared to how you were 5 years ago? Are you winning work because of repeat business and word of mouth? Well, that's great, isn't it? If you are, that means you're delivering a great service. Or are you solely relying on new business constantly? You constantly chasing new business? Well, that could be a little bit of a red flag. And probably one of the most important questions to ask yourself is, what is your role in the business right now compared to what it was 5 years ago? That's the big question. What are you doing now? Are you still on the tools? And if so, why are you still on the tools? If it is your desire to come off the tools, why are you still on the tools 5 years later? Is it because your business hasn't grown enough for you to be able to come off the tools? Or is it that you haven't got the right processes in place to allow others to do things for you? Are you still answering the phones? Are you still sending out invoices? Or have you managed to pass that off onto one of your admin team to do that compared to what you were doing 5 years ago? So a lot of questions to ask yourself, and it'll be really revealing when you ask these questions. It will really help you see, have you progressed? Is your business moving forward constantly over the years? And if you have progressed, which no doubt you will have done in some areas, then pat yourself on the back. Well done. And really pat yourself on the back, because no one else will pat yourself on the back. No one else is going to praise you for it, because it's really not easy running a construction company on your own. And sometimes the changes you make from day to day, it can seem small and insignificant, can't it? But when you look back over the years at that progression, it can be quite staggering if you're just making these small changes. So the moral of the story, or the moral of the Facebook Live today, take some time out periodically and just have a look at how far you've come over the last 5 years. How have things improved? If you've improved, fantastic. Set yourself some new goals and then go for them. And if you haven't, if you don't like the answer you hear, well, how about making the rest of 2021 the year that you doubled down and made some progress? Because you don't want to be looking back in another 5 years with regret because you didn't make the changes when you wanted to. There's an ancient Chinese proverb, isn't there, just to end it? It says, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now.